All right. Everyone hears the new track today. That's because YouTube has decided while I'm on vacation that they're going to copyright strike every single one of our goddamn videos that they possibly can. I get a very frantic message from Bri before we go on. He's like, where are all the fucking previous YouTube videos? I'm like, I just kind of assumed they were up there. They're gone. Return of the Mac has apparently got us in trouble. I like to start trouble, so we're going to figure it out. To the people that own Return of the Mac, we made that song cool again, so I just want you to thank us a little bit, and that's it. But other than that, we're here to talk. You know what we're here to talk. It's a Sunday stream, 2 times on vacation. The wife is not fucking happy whatsoever with me, but I got sand still in my butt crack, a little bit on my balls. Was in the ocean. I'm feeling good today. We're talking Darlington. Man, Bri, how's the weekend going? Just give me a little taste of how much money you made yesterday. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I know the video's not available, but I think it's still up on Twitter, which is a good thing. So we threw out some picks. We threw out, I think, 5 really good picks on was it Friday?
Yeah.
And man, did we not sweep the board on the first college football weekend? So 5-0, looking to go 6-0 tonight with LSU's quarterback. We have his passing yards over. But yeah, we're kind of swimming in cash today.
Yeah,
we wake up to a nice little bump.
Feeling good. I had to, of course, run back to a little offshore site that I've been known to use. I'm not going to give them promo here. Ran to an offshore site. Had a good feeling about yesterday. And when I posted the picks, I posted 3 of my picks as well. So we posted like an 8-pack for you guys. And we went 8-0. I don't know how else to say it. Everything we said was going to happen happened. And I got to tell you, I don't know how many more times that's going to happen. But fuck, is it nice to look at the account today and see that we were on the right side of almost every call. Bri came through with the unders. We hit the under a first half in that UGA fucking Clemson game, like pretty fucking easily. And then Notre Dame was a pretty easy win as well, I think, honestly. Love to see Notre Dame get out on the right foot too. Love to see Penn State do what I said they were going to do. -7.5 was and I know we'll get to NASCAR in a second. I just kind of want to fucking suck our own dicks for just a second. Give me a second. All right. But Penn State came out throwing the ball, which I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? Why are they throwing so much? And they fucking have a little bit of a squad this year. Jesus Christ. I mean, they took a West Virginia team that was pretty gassed, and they fucking snuffed him out like a sick puppy yesterday, dude. That was a beating.
Yeah, I mean, Aller only threw the ball 17 times yesterday, and 11 completions of 17, right around 225 yards. So not massive numbers but I mean, if you break that down, that's almost 20 yards a pass. So that's encouraging. They ran the ball over 40 times yesterday.
Yeah.
Kind of just, they beat West Virginia into the ground. So, when we looked at the Friday stream, I think we really were sharp in saying how these games were going to go. We said Singleton was going to get an anytime touchdown. They're going to pound the ball to him. He had over 100 yards rushing in a TD. We said that we thought Clemson had a good half in them. They had a good half in them. The second half was a disaster. And then the Notre Dame A&M game, we said, hey, it feels like an Ohio State Notre Dame game from last year. And I mean, was that not on the button too? So we not only were our picks right, the way the game shaped out were right too. And we're gonna try to do the same thing next week. So we're already looking at the board. We'll have some stuff ready for you guys next week. And we'll keep the train rolling.
Yeah. But for right now, we're talking NASCAR. And a lot of people maybe not really well versed in NASCAR. There's lots of markets you can get involved with. Top 10, top 5, top 3, winner, of course. But there's matchups, and I think that's really where we shine is the finding of the proper matchup. The last, like, I believe 4 or 5 matchups we gave you have hit. And they're the best thing about NASCAR, in my opinion, is like the average. Like, I feel like this is the most computable sport because like certain guys just do better at certain tracks, and you just know that they're going to catch a setup at that track. Usually, that's just how it's going to go. And Darlington, I don't think is any different. Go ahead and give me. Let's talk last 7 races here. Let's talk about the guys that you think are going to be good here, and then we'll break it down a little bit further. But take it away, man.
Yeah, and before we even get into that, I feel like something to be said about Darlington. It's one of the toughest tracks on the schedule. So, turn 1 and 2 are completely different than turn 3 and 4. There's really one groove. Tires get eaten up, so tire management is very important here. The proof is that NASCAR's allowing these guys to have 13 sets of tires this week, which is ridiculous. The tire wear is important. So if you have 10 lap fresher tires, that's worth a ton here. Darlington has been known to shred tires. You want people who can manage your tires. Veterans generally do better here. Rookies struggle. So when we start looking at the last 7 races, there's a key statistic that pops up, and that's how many drivers have led consistently at Darlington. And really, over the last 7 races, there's only 7 drivers that have led over 100 laps. That's your Truex, Hamlin, Larson, Reddick, Kyle Busch, Logano, and Chastain. I mean, those are top tier drivers. You rarely get a surprise winner here. So we saw Eric Jones win a couple years ago. He only led like 20 laps in that race. So that might have been fool's gold. But for the most part, I feel like this type of track, you want track position. You want to be up at the front because it's hard to pass. If you're back in like 15th or 16th, it's going to be hard to dice through the field and get to the lead. So you want proven guys who have been there before, been at the front, and can stay at the front.
Right. That's what we're looking for here. And I love a fucking a tire management race because that means we're going to see some green flag pit stops that actually matter. And it's not just like, hey, maybe throw on some left sides or fucking right sides and just fill it up with fuel. I can't tell you how much I hate a fucking goddamn fuel management race. That sounds boring as shit. This is not that. And what's great about Darlington is, and I think like, I want to start with Reddick and Larson because Reddick and Larson, they're dirt track racers. I think that's their base, really. And the dirt track, the top of the wall here can be a little fucking, a little like fool's goldy too. Like you can maybe catch some speed up there. And I feel like these guys, Larson especially, is going to either fucking wreck or be first place. That's just kind of what he does. He's the epitome of Ricky Bobby. Like that's just him. So what do you expect from Larson? What do you expect from Reddick? I like both of them today. I believe they're both starting in the top 10, qualified really well, kind of expected them to catch a setup here. I love Reddick. I think Reddick, I mean, man, this kid has been consistent. I currently hold plus 2,200 ticket on him to win and a plus 1,800 ticket on him to win the championship this year. And I'm fucking sitting pretty. I think this kid has been the most consistent, like just across the fucking board. I mean, the kid's in the top 10 it seems like every fucking race. You know what I mean? So tell me what you expect from Reddick and Larson today.
I mean, I think the biggest thing is that Reddick and Larson are notable wall riders. So they love to run the high side. There's tons of speed up there. And with Darlington, the higher you go, the the more speed there is. So I feel like Reddick and Larson are going to be in it. I think there's a good chance that both of them come away with a win here. I mean, if we're looking at just placing winner tickets, I think you can't go wrong with either of them. I think they're plus 600, somewhere around there.
So value's basically been sucked out of them completely.
Yeah.
Plus 600, not really interested. I do think that fucking Darlington, because it eats up tires the way it does, maybe a favorite goes into the wall at some point because of the tire situation. So anything plus 600, I'm iffy on that whatsoever. But are they live in matchups? That's the question. Like, do you think that if you side with either one of these guys, do you think that you can win a matchup with them?
Yeah, I mean, I looked at some of the Reddick matchups. They are being priced at a premium. So you're looking at a minus 140, minus 150 on most Reddick matchups. Same with Larson. Now, if you get them both together, I think it's more like 110, 120 on I think Larson is the favorite. So I mean, if you're matching them together, I would take Reddick plus money if that's the option.
Yeah, if you could get a plus 120 or like a plus 110 or whatever the fuck on Reddick over Larson, I think you got to take a stab there because that's like a 50-50 and you're getting value there. And I think that it's a coin flip between the two. I expect Reddick, I expect Larson to be at the front of the field today. Another guy that I think I think I'd probably say we're both a little surprised at how the last 10, 15 races has gone for Byron. I feel like has been really inconsistent. It seems like he's kind of getting back into the swing of things. Was really strong last week, I believe, maybe the week before that. I'm not sure. But what's going on with Byron? Like for a lot of the year, I feel like, for the past couple of years, he's been like kind of the one that seems to be getting catching most of the setups. So what's going on now? I mean, he started strong and now he's kind of faded down the stretch.
Yeah. So Hendrick in general, man, you have Larson, Elliott, and Byron, and then Bowman. But yeah, I mean, I feel like Byron has kind of lived in the shadow of Larson over there for a while. And he proved early in the season and last year that he's a pretty damn good driver. But the question is, he's never been able to close in the playoffs. So can he do that? I don't know. He's done well here before. I think he's won at Darlington before, which is obviously all these guys are trying to look for wins going into playoffs. This is the last race before the playoffs start. So they're trying to springboard some momentum going in. So I don't know. I am iffy on Byron. I think there's better plays out there. He could prove me wrong today, but I don't have Byron on any of my tickets.
All right. Well, that's not great for Byron. Usually if Bry's not on it, that's not great. So, all right. So when I'm looking at driver averages, it says top of the list, obviously Byron. Last 7 races, 1, 3, 5. He's got 1 top 5, 3 top 10s, and 5 top 20s. So rather consistent here. But again, I think when we're talking about recent form, it is important. He has been wonky, to say the least. I feel like at times Bowman even has been a little stronger than him, and that's fucking surprising to say out loud. Obviously, we all know that Bowman is the 4th fucking car there, and he does not get as much money as everybody else gets. But I'm curious to see. I got to see it before I put a bet on Byron. I got to see it. I got to see him be consistent, right? You know what I mean? You can't really trust him right now, in my opinion.
I mean, if we're talking about pure betting, there's probably 5 or 6 drivers I like more than Byron. So not to say that he's going to not do well at this race or I mean, he's a player to win, but going into this race and looking at the odds and looking at the betting lines, I mean, there's a half a dozen drivers that I'd probably rather put tickets on before Byron.
Okay, copy that. All right, so we'll move on, and I'm going to group these guys together just because on the same team, I think they're both really consistent here. Truex and Hamlin. Truex needs a win to get into these playoffs, right? Or is he good? Like, is he?
I think he's good now.
Okay,
After
he's
last
good
week,
now.
I think he's pointed in. So,
right, so he's
even if
good.
there's a rogue winner, I think Truex still makes the playoffs without a win.
Okay, but he would be the last spot, right?
I think he's the highest of the non-winners. So I think it comes down to Buescher, Chastain, and Bubba Wallace.
Right? Oh man, we're gonna have this is gonna be a rough fucking day today. I'm telling you right now. All right, so Truex and Hamlin. Hamlin obviously doesn't need the win, but god damn it, is he not just fucking fantastic everywhere? Like you just can't. He's gonna be competing. It doesn't matter. He's gonna be in the top 10. He's gonna be competing at some point. I'm sure he'll be leading this race. Do you think there is any more emphasis on getting Truex into the swing of these playoffs right now? Like think about what it would mean, because it's his last fucking year, what it would mean for him to win going into these playoffs. Because if he gets fucking hot, he can win. He could win the championship.
It's one of his better tracks, and it just goes back to what we had talked about before. He's a veteran. He takes care of his tires.
Yep.
And on long runs, that's what you need. You need a veteran who can take care of their tires. Now, if it's a crash fest and they're restarting every 15 laps, that gets a little different. But when we talk about long runs, where they're making green flag pit stops and going through a complete tire cycle, it's hard to argue against Martin Truex as far as being able to take care of his equipment. Now, Hamlin, I think, is very much in the same stratosphere as Truex in that regard as far as taking care of his stuff. My biggest thing is when I look at the last 7 races, Truex has kind of been a boom or bust guy. He stays towards the front. He hasn't been able to finish a lot of these races where Hamlin has. So when I start looking at, if you were to put a matchup between Hamlin and Truex, I mean, that's definitely a big red flag. Is can you get to the end? Can you cross the finish line, or are you in the hauler on lap 100, right? So
yeah.
We'll see, but yeah, if in that type of matchup, I'm leaning towards Hamlin.
Okay, so again, not great for Truex, but I really hope Truex catches the setup. One of my more, I feel like I got a little soft spot for Truex. I like him. I think he's a good dude. And when he was winning a couple of years ago, we were cashing tickets almost every week on him. So I always have a soft spot for people. A lot of people hate Hamlin, but my first real big, it was 4-digit win on NASCAR was Hamlin. So I can't really be mad at Hamlin either. But okay, so those are the boys from JGR. Let's talk about. I'm going to save Busch. I'm going to save Chastain. I want to talk Logano because I do think, just purely based off of strategy, I think he's going to be a player. But it does worry me. He's coming from 22nd in this race.
He qualified 23rd.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, Penske has been really up and down this year. I mean, I feel like Logano had the best car at Daytona last week.
Agreed.
I felt like he probably, if there's no crazy wrecks or anything, probably has at least a top 3, if not a winning car.
Yeah.
How do I think Logano will do here? I think he'll do okay. I don't know if he has top 5 speed based off of qualifying.
Yeah.
but I think he's probably in the play for a top 10, top 15. Um, Honestly, the way I look at it is that a lot of these playoff guys are going to be looking for stage points.
Gotcha.
So you might see like a Logano make a different pitch strategy to try to get some playoff points and win a stage. Will he be there at the end? Like Byron, there's quite a few drivers I like more than Logano this
Yeah.
week, especially based off of how he performed yesterday in qualifying.
Yeah. Okay, so all right, we're moving on from Logano. I think again, Joey, he's gonna be Joey. I feel like he's gonna be real aggressive sometimes, and maybe at a track like fucking Darlington, it's not the greatest idea. We are in agreement. He was the best car last week.
Mhm.
How Harrison Burton fucking found his way through Kyle Busch, I will never fucking know. But it looked like it was off the front bumper of Parker Retzlaff, and that is crazy in itself to say out loud. Kyle Busch, Chastain, they're a winning in kind of situation, right? They have both not won this season, correct?
Kyle Busch definitely needs a win to get in. Chastain can point in, Bubba Wallace can point in, and Buescher can point in, but Buescher is too far back. He must win. This is a must win for Kyle Busch.
Okay.
He starts 7th today.
Not bad. Not a bad qualifier. It does seem like he has found a car, possibly. Both him and Dylan have been running much better than they were.
I like Kyle Busch today. I think it's a good play. He has the veteran knowledge to stay up front, and I mean the biggest fear with Kyle Busch is not driving ability. It's okay, you have 13 sets of of tires. Pit stops are going to be huge, and can his crew get him out in front of some of these other teams and not lose positions for track position?
Yeah.
Kyle Busch's team, I would say, is middle of the road, not elite, not the worst, not like a Bubba Wallace or a Blaney, who their pit crews seem to fuck up every week.
Yeah.
But Kyle Busch is, I feel like a team like Larson, a team like Hamlin, they consistently do it on pit road and get these guys out there. So that's my really only concern with Kyle Busch. It's definitely not talent, and it's definitely not the car this week.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely look at Kyle Busch on some of these tickets as far as matchups go. If you can find a favorable matchup with Kyle Busch, I'm all for hitting that.
Okay, I like it. I'm really very interested in what he does this week. I do think RCR's found some speed, and that is what they were lacking. We talk about it. I just want to touch this real quick before we talk Chastain, and I do want to throw in Wallace because I want to get your fucking opinion on Wallace this week. But when we talk about pit crews, how much does that weigh in on your decisions to take a driver over another driver in matchups?
It really depends on the track, like a track like Atlanta or Daytona or Talladega. I don't think it matters as much, just because it's easy to make up spots at those places.
Right.
A track position race like Richmond, Darlington, Dover, even Homestead is kind of dicey to. I mean, it takes a couple laps to get around a guy at Homestead. So track position is very important on non-restrictor plate tracks, and I think it's going to be huge definitely this tonight, because I mean, let's say that there's a caution at lap 25 and they all come in for tires, and then there's another caution at lap 7, they're coming back in for tires because that's how much it's worth it. So, yeah, 16 laps on tires is enough to bring the entire field down, and a late race caution for tires. You need a good pit crew, and you need them to be able to either sustain a position or gain a couple positions on pit lane.
So I would say then I'm going to be a little cautious with Kyle Busch because if you got a middle of the road fucking pit crew, all right, I'm worried now. I'm a little worried. I'm not so fucking set in a good bet for Kyle Busch. I will take an outright if he's over plus 1,000 or whatever. I'll take an outright on him just to see. He's got some juice left. I don't know. We're counting him out right now. Everybody's like, oh, what happened to Kyle Busch? I don't think it's what happened to Kyle Busch. I think it's what happened to RCR because they have had terrible fucking cars almost all year, besides the last, what like 3-4 races? Since Dylan won. Kind of, since he kind of won. I feel like RCR has been really consistent and has really figured out their situation. So definitely somebody to watch, Kyle Busch. Now, a dude that you know that I always will love, Chastain. I love the guy. I think when he first came in, he was pissing a lot of people off, but God damn it, do I love aggressive fucking race car drivers. And he was like top of the heap. Now, since he's reeled it the fuck in, he's lost some of his superpower, I think, in my opinion. If you're aggressive, you just got to be aggressive, dude. Like, you just got to you got to be aggressive. That's how you win. You got to fucking win. If Suarez has a win, I'm questioning why Chastain doesn't have a win because, in my opinion, Chastain is a better race car driver. So, what the fuck is going on? Does he even have a fucking outside chance today? Is this someone that's gonna fucking just crash out and not make the playoffs?
I don't think that he has a chance to win today.
Damn.
Darlington is one of those tracks where you cannot be aggressive for about 98% of the race. You're allowed to be aggressive in the last 5 laps.
Yeah.
You got to take care of your shit. So, you can't run 100% the entire race and expect to have a car at the end. You got to manage tires. You got to manage fuel. Well, scratch that. You really don't have to manage fuel because tires will wear out before a tank of fuel does. So it's really about managing your equipment. He starts 22nd.
Oof.
So he'll be back in the back of the field. Now, does he have a chance at like a top 10 and point his way in? I think he does. But I would not pick him to be a winner this week. He's historically done fairly well at this track. He's led a bunch of laps here before. But he is not on my card to win this race.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fucking pretty sad for Chastain. Hopefully he can point his way in and shit like that. Another guy that he can point in, probably be better if he fucking won because it's going to be real hard to point in if he's trying to fucking compete with Chastain the whole time. Bubba Wallace, after last race, was basically saying, I am a shithead and I should have won this season. And I'm going to go ahead and agree with him. I thought overall, minus the pit fucking bullshit that he's dealt with, he's had some of the best cars this season. I think at a few tracks, what was was it the race that Dylan won that he should have won? What was the race that he should have won? And Larson put him into the wall.
I mean, there's been multiple races that he should have won. He starts from the pole today, so he has a fast car.
Oh, he's fucking fast today. Oh, shit.
So the question is whether or not, so Reddick's definitely in. I think Hamlin, obviously, and Jordan want their second car in. I mean, he's not that far away from pointing in, so he doesn't necessarily have to win the race. He needs to pick up stage points. He needs a top 5, I think, gets him in with stage points. And he's going to be, it's going to be a constant. Where's Bubba? Where's Busher? Where's Chastain? And then you might have a rando like Kyle Busch that's in the mix. So I think that's where the cameras are going to be on the broadcast because it's the obviously the last race before the playoffs, and there's definitely spots up for grabs.
Yeah. Do you think Wallace has a chance to win today?
No, I don't. I think he's got a good enough car and can perform to like a top 5 maybe. Like I said, I think they're going to be a little bit more conservative because they want to get him in the playoffs. So he does, like I said, he doesn't have to win. He just has to keep it together and not fuck up.
Yeah, good point. Which is sometimes very hard for him because he gets in his own head, gets in his own way. All right, so I think we've talked this track. I feel good about it. What I want to do is just go through. Give me a couple people, but if you got one that you're looking to fade today, which driver are you looking to fade?
One of the matchups that I really like, and if you watched the Xfinity race yesterday or caught the highlights of it, the big story yesterday was SVG goes to an Xfinity race, never been to the track before, and in a officially sanctioned race, finishes 7th. There's a matchup that I really like. It's SVG versus Harrison Burton. Harrison Burton won last week. He's in the playoffs. Before last week, he was the lowest point scoring full-time driver on the circuit. So he was essentially dead last in points before last week. Pulls a win out of his ass, is in the playoffs. But Daytona is it's one of those unicorn races, right? Anyone can win that race.
Yeah.
I think you come to a driver's track like Darlington, SVG has a little bit of experience now from yesterday. I like SVG minus 105 over Harrison Burton. We're fading him this week. He can't compete. He can't do it 2 weeks in a row is what we're saying. And we take the underdog in that matchup, SVG. Now, SVG starts 34th. You may be saying that's really, really far back. Harrison Burton starts 24th, which is 10 spots ahead of him. But this is a grueling long race. I don't necessarily think where you start necessarily matters as much, at least for the drivers in the back.
Yeah.
So I like that matchup. SVG minus 105 over Harrison Burton, and we're gonna fade the recent winner into the sun.
Okay, love it. I think that's a really great I did not catch the Xfinity because I was too busy just vacationing yesterday, so did not catch the Xfinity race. Am very impressed that fucking SVG finished 7th, and now you know what? If you're in the Cup Series, you got to kind of be concerned a little bit, I think, because that boy's coming, and he's coming for everybody. And I'm telling you, on any road course, that dude is like 400% better than the next guy.
Yeah, and he's starting to figure out these ovals. So, I mean, this is his first year, right, in the both Cup and Xfinity.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a learning curve, obviously, from what his Aussie racing. So I think he's starting to figure it out. And when you go to a really tough track like Darlington and post a 7th, I mean, I feel like that's a really good sign going into tonight.
Yeah, he's live as fuck for that Xfinity Championship, in my opinion. He's live as fuck for that. All right, love SVG. I will be playing that. That is just a wonderful matchup. I love fading Harrison Burton. The call last week when he won was fucking phenomenal. His dad in the booth, the Australian guy. I don't know who the fuck he is, but he was phenomenal. Like just fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, he announces some of the I'll say for the motorsports fans, the non-motorsports fans in this viewing this, like the 24 Hours of Daytona.
Oh, okay. Like
So,
Le Mans or whatever the fuck that
yeah,
shit is.
so he commentates that side.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, NASCAR. Let's sign a petition to fire Rick Allen and
Yeah.
replace him immediately.
Yeah, I would love that because that fucking dude. I mean, he called. Dude, the call was just fucking. It was a little chill. Like, give me a little chills. I just loved it. Really cool to see Burton win. Obviously, that kid's, in my opinion, he's still got a future. I'm not worried about it. The last name alone is going to keep him in a car. And I think he needs to go back down to Xfinity. He needs to figure it out. He's not ready for the Cup. When they brought him up, we both were like, that's early. That's fucking early because he wasn't even fucking really competing that much in Xfinity when he was there. Like, he's got to go back down, get him into a good car, let him figure it out. And I think he's a good race car driver. That's it. I don't think he's going to be amazing. I think he's good. Definitely not as high on him as I am on Gibbs. Like, I feel like Gibbs is going to be rattling off wins in like 3-4 years. He's going to be like the best guy in the series, in my opinion. Give me your sleeper today. Who's the guy that you think has an outside shot of winning that maybe not everybody agrees with?
That's a good question. I think there's a couple of guys that you can look at and say, man, I think they need the win. Chris Buescher being one of them. I'm not quite sure where he qualified, but Chris Buescher he's a wheelman, and I like if there's a guy that's outside probably the top 10 that you'd want behind the wheel. I feel like Buescher is probably one of those outside top 10 talents that you want to be driving your car. So I like Chris Buescher as a sleeper. Carson Hocevar, and not to say that he'll win. His qualifying was incredible. He qualified in the top 5.
Oh, shit.
Let me pull this up. He qualified. Oh, he qualified second behind Bubba Wallace. So
holy shit.
So Carson Hocevar is another driver that, we have been heavily looking at the last couple of weeks in the last couple of streams. I think he's got like I said, I don't think he has the experience to win, but I think he's got the talent, and I don't know if he has the car to win, but that might be someone that you look at. Now, Vegas has taken down all Hocevar matchups because of how well he's done in qualifying. So be aware that Vegas is a little bit onto this now. We cashed a top 10 Hocevar pick a couple weeks ago.
Plus 420. Plus 420.
Yeah, plus 420. So we've been on the Hocevar train for a little bit. I feel like Vegas is starting to catch on, and he's the type of driver, if you get him in one of those top rides, I feel like he's going to be right there with Gibbs and these other young guns. So
Hocevar is he is what you just said about Buescher. He's a fucking wheelman, dude. That kid can fucking drive, and yeah, he's a young up and comer. I would have loved to see him in Truex's old ride, man, because I think he would fucking light this series on fire, dude, with a good car. He's been great. He's driving for fucking Spire. He shouldn't be great. Want to be very clear about the fact that everyone else at Spire is a big pile of shit, and he's been the only one that's really fucking gotten anywhere with them. Spire obviously putting that funding all behind Hocevar right now. It's very fucking clear that he's got all the funding, and that's it. And I agree with it. Hey, listen, when you got Corey LaJoie, you might want to put it behind the other driver. I'm going to be honest with you. He's a fucking shitbox driver. So, all right. So I'm going to give you, we talked about sleeper. We look at Buescher. We look at Hocevar for an outside, maybe a top 10 finishing car, which should get you a nice little positive number, I think. I know Vegas is going to catch on to us, but we'll move on to the next one. I'm not worried about it. You can try to keep up with us. We're still going to cash tickets, guys. So give me your front runners. Let's give me it doesn't matter how many. Just tell me how many guys. Who are the guys you expect to win today?
I think it comes down to Hamlin, Reddick, and Larson at the end. I think those are the three guys that have consistently done it, are all within the top 15 starting. So Reddick starting 6th, Larson starting 4th, Hamlin starting 14th. Hamlin starting 14th doesn't bother me as much as some of the other drivers starting further back in the pack. I feel like he's going to be there at the end. I probably will look at a Toyota to win this race.
Ooh, that.
I think Truex has an outside shot. I think Hamlin, Reddick, Bubba Wallace qualified really well. You have lots of I feel like there's going to be lots of Toyotas at the front, plus Larson, maybe plus a Byron, maybe an Elliott. So I think this is going to be a Toyota race, if I were to call it now.
Looks
and I think honestly, I believe Hamlin's going to win this race.
Love it. All right. I mean, I think we covered everything. Gave you a little 40-minute pod. Hopefully it doesn't get copyright struck down off of fucking YouTube. If not, we're up on Twitter, so come find us there. All the picks over at SoBet. So sign on. We handed out eight winners yesterday. We gave you 8 picks. We handed out 8 winners. So don't know if you can do any better.
The most important part is we handed out 0 losses.
That's it.
So when you go 8-0 on your card, the difference between 7-1 and 8-0 is 2 units, right? So keep those losses off the board.
That's right. Keep them off the board and stay tuned in. We're just catching fire. It's just about time for us. So stick with us, and thanks for coming today. And hopefully you guys cash some tickets. Remember, be on the lookout. SVG over Burton. And what's your matchup of the day? Is it Briscoe over Eric Jones?
I do. I like Briscoe over Eric Jones. Briscoe is a slight underdog. So I'm playing underdogs with SVG and Briscoe. Briscoe qualified 3rd. And Eric Jones qualified 28th.
And he's an underdog.
Yes. Well, Jones has been okay here. He's won a race before. If you look at kind of their averages over the last 7 races, Briscoe's performed better, even with Jones winning a race. So I think, based off of all that, if you can get plus money on Briscoe versus Jones, I think that's a solid investment.
All right, you heard it here first. Bry fucking threw the matchups at you. Briscoe over Eric Jones. You're getting fucking plus. What are you getting, plus money at that, or just
plus 110?
Oh my God, plus 110 on a guy that qualified 3rd and another guy that qualified 28th. I'm taking Briscoe all day, especially at fucking Darlington. And then we're gonna take SVG over Burton. Be on the lookout for Toyota to win. We like Hamlin, we like Reddick, we like Larson. Unfortunately, I don't think any of the juice right now is worth the squeeze, so to speak. If they're plus 600, let it go. Just fucking move on to the next thing. Let's get you in a better market here, because this track can eat you alive. So be on the lookout for those. SVG over Burton, Briscoe over Eric Jones again. Get on them. They'll be posted on SoBet. But for us, for me, for Bry, enjoy that race. Enjoy the weekend, and we're out. Wait, Kev, play us out. He just left us on. Hold on. God damn it. All right, Bry, just sign off. We'll let the stream just play.